All right, another mock draft for the Gulag. I am trying to get a couple in here before I go away for 2 weeks. So I figured I would get into another one. As you can see here in the corner, Ryan is going to be in on this one. So you look at the list here. We've now done 3 of these videos, from the 2, the 6, and the 22. We're going to see which spot I'm going to be doing a mock from now through the randomizer. Let's see. All right, so I'm drafting from the 11 spot, which is going to be Billy Dietz. How ironic that we get back-to-back Dietz brothers. So I'm going to go ahead here, and I'm going to join in the 11. Kind of an interesting spot in your standard league. It would be right at the end. But here, anywhere between 10 and 20, you don't have that long of a wait. So I think it's still a pretty solid spot. I'm going to draft from the 11 spot today. We're going to see how this goes. Let's get started. Okay, so when we look at the board here, we can see that a lot of running backs have gone. Michael Thomas and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is way, way too early. Knowing that, first of all, he has an early buy, and second of all, in like a standard league, he usually goes as the middle of the second. Anyways, this is what I'm thinking here. So Tyreek Hill is a very good option with a week 10 buy, but I also see Nick Chubb here. And you probably want a very good running back to anchor your way. Nick Chubb gets a ton of volume, regardless of Kareem Hunt potentially breaking out. Joe Mixon's probably going to hold out to start the season, potentially. I don't believe it. So I'm between Tyreek Hill and Nick Chubb. I can find wide receivers later. I am for sure going with Nick Chubb. But no, I did not mean that Devontae Adams shouldn't go at 7. I just think for kind of the league that we're running with here, early buy plus the fact that he's a wide receiver when, running back is by far the most important position. And you can see here, even these 3 that went before Chubb, I don't like them as much as Chubb to start the season. I'm a big fan of Josh Jacobs. He's got an early buy, and the reason I like him is he has a lot of potential, which I would much rather have a stud running back right away. All right, so here comes the board right back to us. So we started off with Nick Chubb. We look at some other players that are here. We do have Kyler Murray there. He's got a week 8 bye. That's nice. Cortland Sutton, I just saw him as well. Looking at these top 2 wide receiver options, I don't love them at all. Keenan, we don't even know what his Chargers quarterback situation is going to look like. T.Y. Hilton's coming off of injury and has a new quarterback. Kareem Hunt, I have no clue why he's ranked 55. We can get a second running back that's going to be okay in a little bit. So I'm looking at here Tyler Lockett, Terry McLaurin, Kyler Murray, and Sutton. At least to start the season, Sutton's going to be really, really solid, even with them drafting those rookies. But Drew Lock is the quarterback. I'm kind of leaning here Terry McLaurin or Tyler Lockett. Me personally, I want that top tier quarterback. I'm going with Kyler Murray right now. We start out with Kyler and Nick Chubb. Now, notice that Kyler has a week 8 bye and Nick Chubb has a week 9. I think that's good right now. We're going to have to take a look here at a second running back or a wide receiver just to kind of see what we got. I was either going to go Kyler or Tyler Lockett there. I didn't really like any of those other options. If you watched my last mock, you also saw that we can punt the tight end position and still get someone halfway decent. All right, so when we look at the wide receivers here, I do like Michael Gallup a lot. It's going to fall off after this point. We could go with a second running back. Jordan Howard could be interesting. Um, Jarvis Landry is very, very productive and PPR machine, obviously. So I'm leaning Jarvis Landry or Michael Gallup. I'm going to go with Jarvis Landry just due to the safety net. So I am going to double down here with Browns, but I think those are still two solid options. We'll see what happens when it comes back. As you saw with the running backs on the board, Damian Williams was the top. Who knows when he's going to actually lose that position to CEH, the rookie. And then also the other one was Darius Geis, who I do not like Darius Geis at all. He's injured all the time. He probably, to be honest, has about 3-4 years left in the league, and we'll see how many games he even plays in that period of time. So the running backs that were available at that time, I did not like at all. I just want to take a look back at Jarvis. Now, I know he is coming off of an injury, but if we see here, in most of these games, he's putting up at least 10 points, which is going to be solid for you moving forward. He even put up 20 points on some games as well. I did feel good about the Kyler Murray pick, though, because, again, we know that quarterback, he's got legs, and that's the big thing. So he's kind of a cheat code in fantasy football. Okay, so we got Jamison Crowder. I already like him just by looking here. Christian Kirk, that's another really good option. We really could start with 2 Cardinals and 2 Browns. That'd be kind of comical there. I don't really love a lot of these other options. I could start with a stout defense in the Ravens. I don't want to start that train, even though I know a lot of these other teams in the mock would end up following suit. When I look here, I like Jamison Crowder a lot with the Jets. I'll kind of show you his statistics here in a second because I'm going to take him. Just because I don't want to have 2 Cardinals and 2 Browns because that might turn into a kind of mistake. So I'm going to take Jamison Crowder and Jarvis Landry here. Again, they're not very sexy picks, but I think at least to start the season, they're going to be a good, safe amount of points, which that's all you got to do. All you got to do is survive and beat out 2 teams on a weekly basis. And then obviously Billy, I know in the past, has been very good with his waiver money. So that's huge for him. The big thing is you just need a team that's going to help you survive right at the beginning. So we're looking at a running back, tight end, and then some flex. I want to look at the running backs here. Nyheim Hines is interesting for the Colts. If I knew that Sony Michel was starting on the pup, I would 100% take Damian Harris, who is with the Patriots. Looking at a lot of these other options, they're pretty gross. Nyheim Hines is going to get involved in the passing game for the Colts. Austin Eckler benefited tremendously from Phillip Rivers last year and the amount of checkdowns that he has. Phillip Rivers is now with the Colts. So I'm going to go with Nyheim Hines because if I don't take a running back right now, it's not going to be good when it swings back. So if we look at the team that we're starting with here, I know 2 years ago, Nyheim Hines was really, really good. So last year, he was ranked the running back 44. Not beautiful, but that's also because he wasn't involved in the passing game. They had Jacoby Brissett, who uses his legs a lot. Phillip Rivers does not. That's obvious. But the Colts have been hyping up Nyheim Hines a ton this offseason. So if we look at the team here, we got Kyler, Chubb, Nyheim Hines, Jarvis Landry, and Jamison Crowder. I still do like that. I did see Darrell Henderson's name. I did kind of talk about him last episode. But I don't really consider that to be the best pick in the world. When it swings back around, we have to make the decision of, are we going to take a defense? Because remember last time I took a rough defense, and now I just need to go ahead and do that or with a flex. We'll see what's out there for tight end as well, but I might just punt the position. Okay. All right, I want to look at the defenses quick. So we got the Dolphins, the Rams, the Broncos, Titans. Pretty sure Titans have a nice matchup in week 1. Let's see. The Broncos, and then they get the Jags. So 2 young, inexperienced quarterbacks right away could be good for the Titans defense. I need to see a quick glance of who's available for the flex. Knowing that Lazard is right there, Mike Williams is right there as well. I like Mike Williams a lot. I'm just afraid that if I don't take a defense now, I'm not going to get a good one. Let's see where the Titans are ranked. 4th. I'm going to take the gamble. I'm going to take Mike Williams with the Chargers. I know that Alan Lazard is, I mean, I guess we'll call him the wide receiver 2 for the Packers. But I don't really know necessarily if that's a great thing or not. They didn't address the position at all. Oh my God, could I get the Titans defense? Oh, yes, I did. Sorry, I got distracted. I was watching for the Titans defense to fall. So we're gonna have to wait on tight end and kicker. Tight end will be our next pick for sure. But like I was saying with Lazard, he's the wide receiver 2 at this current moment. I don't necessarily know if that's a great thing or not. Packers did nothing with the wide receiver position, which they 100% should have. But, Lazard could have been an option there. Robbie Anderson was a good option as well. Mike Williams, though, he's a big-time touchdown catcher, great in the red zone for the Chargers. And again, I know that they don't necessarily know who the quarterback is going to be. And if they go with Tyrod Taylor, he's obviously going to be much more efficient than a rookie in Justin Herbert. But I like Mike Williams a lot. He has a lot of potential still. He is the wide receiver 2 there with the Chargers behind Keenan Allen. And Keenan Allen is, going to be falling off eventually. He really works well out of the slot and in the short game. Mike Williams just catches a lot of touchdowns. That's kind of what he does best. So if you look here, 2018, he had 10 touchdowns. He does have the potential to do that just due to his height and his red zone ability. I kind of relate him to Kenny Galladay in a way. All right, so we got our flex. I would just need to see what's available for tight end. Oh, I kind of like this. I do kind of like Eric Ebron there. Not going to find anything much better looking down the list in terms of potential. I like Herndon and I like Ian Thomas, but I think that, again, Eric Ebron is big in the touchdown industry. So, one touchdown could be the difference between surviving or not. I'm going with Ebron. So our starting lineup minus kicker is full. We'll kind of see what happens here when it comes back. Definitely going to either try to get a flex or a quarterback. I feel like my go-to every single time is taking Fitzpatrick to block someone. No way in heck I'm taking either one of those Bears quarterbacks. I'm taking Fitzpatrick. Someone did take Tua. Let them do that in the draft. He's not going to start at the beginning. There's a very good chance that Tua actually starts the year on the pup due to the fact that they're not going to have much of a training camp and, if any, preseason. So, they're going to go with the safety valve. Why the heck would they go ahead and try to rush Tua in? It wouldn't be a smart franchise decision for who they view now as their franchise quarterback. Obviously, coming off a drastic injury, in which some people thought he would never play football again, and here he is drafted in the first round. So I did play defense there. There's a good chance that someone, if I do something to that nature, will not have a starting quarterback moving forward. That's not good for them. I mean, they're going to have to throw in like Taysom Hill or some crap and hope that he has like a touchdown in the running game or the receiving game. You look at the quarterbacks that are here. I mean, they're all backups besides Taysom Hill. Herbert, he's not starting in week 1. No rookie quarterbacks will be starting in week 1 except for Burrow. But then after these two right here, I mean, unless Cam Newton completely shits the bed in whatever this mini training camp looks like, there's no way that Stidham's going to be starting. So if you just keep looking here, they're all backups. There might be a couple teams in here that don't even have a quarterback. I just found one right here. That's a huge disadvantage that they're now going to have just due to playing defense. Now, like I did last time as well, once you're done playing defense, so if I really wanted to, I could go ahead and I could, snatch a second tight end, which I've done in the past to make sure that someone doesn't get one, or maybe a second defense. Like if I look here, there's only 6 defenses left total. So I could do that and I could play defense to that nature. Or at least got a glance at the kickers. So if I see here there's none of those top tier kickers, I should not feel obligated to go ahead and take one. Matt Gay might be a nice option because he has a week 13 bye, so I wouldn't have to spend any waiver money at all on the kicker department. Shouldn't have to anyways. And, Tampa's offense should be pretty good with Tom Brady there and then those stud wide receivers. Their defense is not the best, is improved, but they might get themselves into some shootouts knowing that they play against the Falcons and the Saints twice a year each. Could be a good option. Holy crap. I'm looking at best available for all. I don't know any of these names, I'll be honest. So I'm either going to play defense and take another quarterback, which there was no one there as you saw. I'm going to go with Matt Gay due to the reasons that I just kind of talked about. Now, notice I always say that you don't need to take a kicker till the end. We're also in a 32-team league. Times are a little bit different now. So I can feel okay to take a kicker a little earlier, but the very most important thing you need to do is you need to fill out your starting lineup first. As you saw, I did. I went ahead and I looked at all the positions, including defense, before I even thought about taking a kicker. So if I really wanted, I could take another kicker. I'm not freaking doing that. That's dumb. Looking at the flex here, got Geronimo. What 2 females? Allison. That could be an interesting option. Don't really know who's going to be the wide receiver 3 with Detroit. When Matt Stafford's there, he's a good quarterback. He throws the ball a lot. Could be something interesting. It's just going to my bench anyways. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Jace Sternberger, though, because he's a tight end. I'm probably playing defense against someone else that has not yet taken a tight end. Now, remember, obviously, I'm doing a mock draft right now. The only real person that's in here is Ryan. It's going to look a lot different when we have our actual draft in that department. All right, so I'm on my last pick. It's going to be a bench player. Let's see. Yeah, some fun. Nope, no Kumaro. All right, so we're just going to go ahead. Oh, could play defense with another tight end. None of these players I'm scrolling past will have any role on a team. Start. There's no chance. Well, I guess I'm taking another tight end. As you can see, these last couple of rounds are kind of tough because beginning of the season, they're just kind of roster placeholders for you. So, all right, let's take a look at this team here. So if we look at Billy's team here, we got Kyler Murray at quarterback. Looking back, I could have definitely punted the position and gone elsewhere with a different person, but I'm still getting one of those top tier options for quarterback. Then I got Nick Chubb and Nyheim Hines. It's a full PPR, so Hines is going to be good in that aspect. Chubb doesn't catch passes, but he gets like 25 carries a game, so that's huge. Wide receivers, we got Jarvis Landry and Jamison Crowder, both PPR monsters. So if I look at Jamison Crowder, so last year, as you can see here, he did have some dud games, but he also had numerous games where he was at 20 points or over. He was the wide receiver 26, borderline wide receiver 2. He was being drafted as like a 9th round guy last year. Great value. I like that in the 4th round because he's going to get peppered with targets because he's the wide receiver 1. And now Darnold's obviously healthy, no mono, any of that. Eric Ebron, you saw that I kind of punted on the position as well. He didn't play as good last year as he did the year before. So I want to show you this. 2018, 13 tight end or 13 touchdowns. Probably not redo it, or he probably can't do that again. However, I still like that obviously a lot. Look at this. He was the tight end 4 on the season. Even if he scores like 6 touchdowns, that's still going to be a solid season. Roethlisberger's back and healthy too, so that's huge for Ebron and his fantasy value. Mike Williams, I kind of showed you that. Gay, I explained it. Titans, they do put the Broncos early, and then they get the Jags right away. But there was no better options at where I was looking at defenses. Fitzpatrick for defense, Jace Sternberger and Tyler Eifert again to play tight end defense. So that is my rationale behind that. Hopefully you enjoyed your team, Billy, that I just mocked for you, and we'll see you next time for another mock draft.